Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast special edition show where I preview the 2023 Leagues Cup. It's the MLS and it is La Liga. It is going to be a lot of fun. There are several different groups. There is 3 West groups, 4 Central groups, 4 South groups, and 4 East groups. We'll go over the groups, and then we'll do what we did for the FIFA World Cup for the women's and pick who goes to the knockout stage and so forth. And the good news is that we have odds for the Leagues Cup, but we do not have the odds to win. We just have the odds for the games. All right, so we'll start out West. Group 1 in the West is Portland, the Portland Timbers, the San Jose Earthquakes, and Tigres, UANL. So there you have it for that group. West 2, Real Salt Lake, Monterrey, and Seattle. West 3, LA Galaxy, Leon, and Vancouver, the Whitecaps. Central 1, we have the Columbus Crew, America, and St. Louis FC. Central 2, we have Minnesota United FC, Puebla, and the Chicago Fire. Central 3, we have FC Cincinnati, Guadalajara, and Sporting KC. Central 4, we have Nashville SC, Toluca, and the Colorado Rapids. South 1, Austin FC, Mazatlan, and Juarez. South 2, Orlando City, Santos Laguna, and the Houston Dynamo FC. South 3, Inter Miami CF, Cruz Azul, and Atlanta United FC. So Messi's playing in this tournament. So we're looking forward to that. South 4, FC Dallas, Necaxa, and Charlotte FC. East 1, the Philadelphia Union, Tijuana, and Querétaro. So I think that's the only one so far where I've seen one MLS team in 2 La Ligas. So that's very interesting. And all the games are being played at Subaru Park in Philly, so that's pretty interesting. Well, it's really in Chester, which is a suburb of Philly, so I just say it's Philly. East 2, CF Montreal, UNOM, and DC United. East 3, we have NYCFC, Atlas, and Toronto FC. And East 4, we have the Red Bulls of New York, Atletico San Luis, and the New England Revolution. Alrighty, we'll start with West 1. Again, we have Portland, you have Tigres, and you have San Jose. So the 22nd will be the 2 MLS teams going at it. UANL against Portland on the 26th, and then the 30th is UANL against San Jose. So where things stand right now in MLS, Portland is 12th in the West, and San Jose is 6th in the West. And then the early La Liga table, I had the wrong Liga up. It's the Liga MX. So Tigres is in 5th in their league. So I think Tigres is actually going to win the group. I know they don't have any games. They're technically going to be on the road. And Portland and San Jose are going to have the home advantage. But I think that Tigres will win the group. And I think San Jose will come in second for this group. West 2, you have Real Salt Lake, Seattle on the 22nd. The 26th, you have Monterrey and Salt Lake, and in Monterrey, Seattle on the 30th. So, Salt Lake has a bit of a advantage playing at home twice. They're in third in the West right now. Seattle is in fourth. And then Monterrey is second. So this is a really, really tough group. I think the Seattle Sounders are awesome. I really do. Somebody good is not going to advance in this group. And unfortunately, I think that is going to be Monterrey. And I think that Salt Lake with home field will win the group. And then coming in second, I think Seattle and Monterrey third. The West. You have the Galaxy, you have Leon and Vancouver. Galaxy right now in the West are in 13th. They've been very disappointing. They are 9 back of a playoff spot. They've been one of the more disappointing teams in MLS this year. I know they've had a lot of other stuff going on, so I understand it's like a lot of games, a lot of pressure. And then Vancouver's in 7th. They're in a playoff spot right now. +6 goal differential. They're actually playing really well. And then Leon and Liga very on 3 games in is in 11th. I think the Galaxy are under some pressure here to come through. And I really think that they're going to come together here with 2 home games here. I think it's going to come through and they're going to win the group. And I think Vancouver comes in second and then Leon is left out. So, the last 2 groups, I'm going with all MLS. So, I have Galaxy and Vancouver, 1 and 2 respectively, and then Salt Lake, Seattle, and W2. So, Central 1, we have the Crew of Columbus, we have America, and St. Louis City. St. Louis City's been a nice surprise this year. They're in first in the West, 41 points. And then the Crew is right now 6th in the East with 36 points. And then America right now is at the bottom of the Liga with 3 points through 2 games. So for this group, so the 23rd is the Crew in St. Louis, the 27th is St. Louis SC in America, and then the 31st is Columbus in America. So the Crew get 2 home games. I really like St. Louis City to win this group, actually, even though the Crew have 2 home games. I think the Crew come in second and St. Louis will come in first. Central 2, Mini United, Puebla, and the Fire of Chicago. Chicago right now is in 8th. They've kind of turned it on a little bit after their coaching change. And then Minnesota's in 10th in the West. And Guadalajara right now is top of Liga. And you know what? I think Guadalajara wins the group. And then second place, this is a hard one. Or I'm sorry, I'm looking ahead a little bit. Puebla's in this group. And Puebla's in last. So my apologies, guys. I was looking at Central 3. So I think the Fire win the group, and then Minnesota comes in second. Central 3. You have FC Cincinnati, Guadalajara, and Sporting KC. Interesting group here. Cincinnati obviously is having a really good year. They're first in the East right now in MLS. And then KC has not had a good season. They have 26 points in the West, and they are 5 back of Vancouver of a playoff spot. And Guadalajara is leading the Liga. I think Guadalajara actually versus Cincinnati is going to be really, really fun. I think Guadalajara wins the group, even though Cincinnati has 2 home games. They have the 23rd against Sporting KC, the 27th against Guadalajara, and then the other 2 teams meet up in Kansas City. So I think that Guadalajara, believe it or not, wins the group. And then I'm going to say Cincinnati comes in second, and then KC third. Central 4. Nashville SC, Toluca, the Colorado Rapids. Nashville right now, 4th in the East with 38 points in MLS, and then Colorado is in last in the West with 19 points. And then Toluca right now is 9th in Liga MX with 4 points. I'm going to pick Nashville to win the group. They have the best player in this group with Ani Mokhtar. So I think that Nashville wins the group. And then in second, I'm going to go with Toluca. And then Colorado does not make it through. And by the way, Nashville against Colorado is the 23rd. Toluca, Nashville is the 27th. And the 31st is Toluca and the Rapids. All right, to the south. First group, or not first group. First game's Austin FC and Mazatlan on the 21st. The 25th is Mazatlan Juarez, and then Austin and Juarez on the 29th. So this is the other group where it's 2 Liga MX and 1 MLS. So Austin's been disappointing this year, but they've picked it up a late, now in 5th in the West. And then Mazatlan is at the bottom of Liga to start with 2 points in 15th. And then Juarez is in 3rd with 7 points. So I'm picking Juarez to win the group. And I'm picking Austin to come in second. South Group 2, Orlando SC, Santos Laguna, and Houston Dynamo. So the 21st is SC and FC. And then Santos and Houston on the 25th and the 29th, and Santos and Orlando FC. So Orlando has the 2 home games. They are 5th in the East right now. And Houston, where things stand right now, is 9th in the West. They are only 2 back of Vancouver for the last playoff spot in the West, so they've been pretty good. And then Santos Laguna, they're in 10th with 4 points right now through 3 games. This is a hard one. I'm going to go with Orlando to win the group. And then I'm going to pick Houston to come in second. That's a hard one, though. I think that Santos can sneak in there too. South 3 have Inter Miami, Cruz Azul, and Atlanta United. So the 21st is Cruz Azul against Messi and Miami. And then 25th, it's Miami against Atlanta. And the 29th, it's Cruz Azul, Atlanta. So Miami has 2 home games. With Messi in the fold now, I'm picking them to win the group. And I think that Messi's going to be motivated to be playing on his new team. There's going to be a lot of pressure. I think a lot of people are going to be watching this because of Miami and Messi. They have 18 points on the year, but they're 17 back of a playoff, so they're probably not going to make the postseason. But I really think this is going to be Miami's time to shine with Messi. And then Cruz Azul right now is last in Liga MX, and then Atlanta right now is 7th in the East. I'm going to pick Atlanta to come in second to go to the knockout. South 4, FC Dallas, Necaxa, and Charlotte. Charlotte is 12th in the East with 26 points. They are 9 back of Atlanta. Dallas right now is 8th in the West. They're only 1 back of Vancouver, though. And then Necaxa right now is last in Liga MX with 2 points. I am going to pick Dallas to win the group. They have experience in big games. They were in the playoffs last year, so I think I should say the MLS playoffs. So I'm going to pick them to win the group. And then I'm going to go with Necaxa second. I don't think Charlotte FC has the experience. So I'm going to go with Necaxa for this group. All right, East 1. We have the Union of Philadelphia of Tijuana and Querétaro. The Union, very up and down in this season. They're 11 back of first. They're in third right now. So they might get the 2 seed in the postseason. We'll see about that. And then on the opposite end with the Liga MX teams, Tijuana is 8th with 4 points, and Querétaro is 13th with 2 points. I think the Union are winning this group. They're home for both their games, which is a big deal, and they play well at home in big games. And they have the experience. They went to MLS Cup last year. I'm picking them to win the group. And they have a kick-ass goalie, too. And coming in second, I am going to go with Tijuana. All right, East 2. CF Montreal, UNAM, DC United. Montreal took a step back after having a good year last year. They have 29 points. And they are 6 back of Atlanta for the last playoff spot. I think the 7 seed is still up for grabs. I think the Fire have a shot. DC United still kind of in it. And then I think the Red Bulls are kind of out of it. Montreal with a big next couple weeks after the tournament, I think could go on a nice run. DC United, meanwhile, is 5 back of Atlanta. They can make a run. And then Pumas UNAM is on top of Liga in 4th with 5 points in 3 games. So I'm actually going to pick UNAM to win the group. It's a bold call, but I am going to go with it. And then I'm going to pick DC United to come in second. Montreal absolutely has a shot. I think this is the most open group so far of the small groups, the East 2. East 3, NYCFC, Atlas, and Toronto FC. NYCFC's been disappointing this year. They're in 13th, 26 points, and they are 9 back of Atlanta for the last playoff spot. Very disappointing year for the team I picked to win the MLS Cup before the year. And then Toronto FC has been disappointing too. They have 19 points. They're in second to last place in the conference. And then Atlas right now has 4 points through 3 matches in Liga MX. And I think that Atlas is going to win the group. I really do. And I think coming in second is going to be NYCFC, who I think has a chance to, like, go on a nice run here. And maybe that leads to a late push for the 7 seed if Atlanta falls out of it. And last but not least, East 4, Red Bulls, Atlético San Luis, and the Revolution. The Red Bulls have turned it around a little bit. They're ahead of NYCFC. They made the coaching change. They're only a -4 goal differential. I know some people that are Red Bulls fans. They are 9 back of Atlanta. Maybe they go on a nice run. They are playing a little better. And then the Revolution are in second right now, 43 points, 8 points back of FC Cincinnati for first. And Atlético San Luis is in sixth right now with 4 points through 3 matches in the La Liga right now. So this is a hard one to do. I'm going with the Revolution to win the group. They're having a fantastic season and a good bounce back year after a couple of disappointing years. And by the way, Red Bulls Revolution on the 22nd from Harrison. The 26th, it's Atlético San Luis and the Revolution from Gillette. And then the 30th, it's Red Bulls Atlético San Luis from Red Bull Arena. And on the 26th, Red Bull Arena is also going to have NYCFC Toronto and NYCFC Atlas from City Field. And then the 30th, Atlas Toronto FC from Toronto. So I forgot to go over like those games. And then, so like I said, Revolution's going to win the group. And hard call between the Red Bulls and Atlético San Luis. I'm going to go with Atlético San Luis. I don't feel good about it. I think the Red Bulls have a shot having 2 home games. But somebody's going to be disappointing in that group. And then for East 2, CF Montreal UNAM is the 22nd. The 26th is CF Montreal DC United. And then the 30th is UNAM DC United. And then for the East, the 22nd is the Union Tijuana. 26th is the Union and Querétaro. And the 30th is Tijuana and Querétaro. So the knockout round is where all the fun is at. LAFC got a bye because it won the MLS Cup last year. And Pachuca got a bye because they got the most points in the accumulated table of the 2022 Clausura and Apertura tournaments. So the knockout round is going to be confusing, but I wrote down who I have winning all the groups just like I did with FIFA Women's, and this will make a little life easier. So the round of 32, the LAFC against the runner-up of South 1. It'll be played in Los Angeles. So runner-up South 1, that would be Austin. All right, so those two met up in the playoffs last year. LAFC won. And I think LAFC is poised to go on another run. So I'm going to advance them to the round of 16. West 3 winner against West 2 runner-up. So the West 3 winner, I have the Galaxy, and the West 2 runner-up, I have Seattle. That's a really good matchup. I think the Galaxy run kind of comes to an end here. I don't know where the games are going to be held. So in terms of venue, so if the match involves 2 MLS clubs, the venue be determined using the group stage tie-break criteria. So it would be points obtained in all group matches, direct head-to-head matchup result between the tied clubs, better goal differential, greater number of goals. Okay, that makes some sense. So West winner 3, I would have the Galaxy, and then Seattle. So it would be like goal differential points. So Galaxy, Seattle. I think Seattle moves on. I know the Galaxy would be home in theory. We got to pick some road team somewhere. West winner 1 against runner-up in West 3. So UANL Tigres and Vancouver. I think that Tigres wins. I know Vancouver would be home in theory, but I think that Tigres wins. Runner-up West 1 against the West winner 2, so it would be San Jose against Salt Lake. That would be really fun. So Salt Lake would be home. I think they would advance. So I have advancing in like the west side of the quartet: Tigres, Salt Lake, Seattle, and of course LAFC. So Central 1 winner against runner-up in Central 2. So that would be St. Louis against Minnesota. St. Louis is having a dream year. The game would be held in St. Louis. So I think that St. Louis would win. Central 4 winner against runner-up of Central 3. So that would be Nashville against Cincinnati. Wait, is that right? Nashville, Cincinnati? Holy crap, yes. That would be a lot of fun. So you have the reigning MLS MVP against who I think has been the best team in the league this year in Cincinnati. And I think Cincinnati, this is like a big moment for them. So I think they'll advance to the 16 here. So winner Central 2 against runner-up Central 1. So that would be Chicago against the Columbus Crew. Chicago would be home in theory, but I like the Crew to advance. They're just a better team than Chicago. And then winner Central 3 against runner-up Central 4. So that'd be Guadalajara against Toluca. Whoo, that would be a lot of fun. Guadalajara against Toluca. I'm going to go Guadalajara here. They're just a better club than Toluca right now. All right. Opposite side of the bracket. Winner East 1 against the runner-up of East 2. So that would mean Philly against DC United. Oh, that's a good one. That, in theory, that would be at Subaru Park. Philly should win that. And they're like a big game team. I don't think the DC United has that experience. Winner East 4 against runner-up East 3. So it'd be New England and NYCFC. The Revolution are having a better year than NYCFC. The game will be held probably at Gillette. New England should win that. Winner East 2 against the runner-up of East 1. So that'd be UNAM against Tijuana. That'd be very interesting. I think that would be a fantastic game in the first round. And I think UNAM survives here. Winner East 3 against runner-up East 4. So that would mean Atlas against San Luis. It's another Liga MX match. So this was another hard call. Both these teams are very good. I just think San Luis is a better offensive team right now than Atlas, so I'm going to go with San Luis to advance. All right, South. Winner 1 against South 4 runner-up. So it'll be Juarez against Necaxa. So that would be very interesting. I think Juarez is way better than Necaxa. They absolutely should advance. And it would be interesting to see where the game would be held. Would it be Austin, maybe, in theory? Winner South 2 against the winner of South 3. That is very interesting that they put those two together. That's because of Pachuca, which we'll talk about in a second. So the winner of South 2 against the winner of South 3. So that would be Miami, Orlando. Whoo! Messi against Orlando. Ooh. Like I said, I think Messi and Miami are poised for a run here. I think they'll knock out Orlando. It's been a great career and fantastic World Cup a couple months for Messi. So I really do think they're poised. Miami FC. So winner South 4 against runner-up South 3. So that would mean Dallas against Atlanta. Interesting match with those two clubs. I just think Atlanta's a better team than Dallas right now. So I'm going to advance Atlanta to the 16. And then South runner-up for Group 2 against Pachuca. So that would mean Houston against Pachuca. Pachuca off to a sluggish start this season, but it's still Pachuca. It's similar to LAFC. But LAFC's kind of caught St. Louis a little bit in MLS. But Pachuca's got a bye for a reason. I'm going to advance them past Houston. All right, this is where it gets tricky. So the round of 16 is going to be between August 6th and August 8th. So it would be LAFC against Seattle. That would be a really fun match. Is this a point where LAFC could get a little bit tired from all the games they've played over the last year or so? I think that's a distinct possibility. I'm going to say that this is a really good game. I think Seattle, I know the game will be in Los Angeles, which will make it hard for Seattle to win. And for that reason, I think LAFC advances. All right. Round of 16 in the West would be UNOW against Salt Lake. From Salt Lake. It would be a really good game between those two teams. I think UNOW is very good, and I think they're very tough. I'm going to advance them past Salt Lake into the 8. Or really the quarterfinals. So it's to the Central. We have St. Louis against Cincinnati. So the top team in the East against the top team in the West in this, in theory, matchup. Very hard call. I think Cincinnati's been the best team all year. In MLS, St. Louis would have home field, but I'm going to advance Cincinnati because they just are a better team. And then the other Central round of 16 would be the Columbus Crew against Guadalajara. Guadalajara is hot right now. They're playing really good soccer. The Crew are a good team, but I'm going to advance Guadalajara here over the Columbus Crew. But that would be an interesting match. All right, the East. It'd be Philly against New England. So two of the better teams in MLS. I know New England's having a good season. The match in theory, I don't know if it would be at Subaru or if it would be at Gillette. But at gunpoint, I think that Andre Blake and the Union get it done. I just know their experience in the big games over the last couple of years. I think that them and LAFC are the two teams that have played the most over the past year, obviously. So there could be some fatigue. But I feel like Philly's coming around a little bit. So I think that they'll get by New England in this, in theory, matchup. And I don't know where the game would be played. But if I, at gunpoint, I'd say Subaru Park. And then on the other side of the East, we have UNAM against San Luis, which would be a lot of fun. Both these teams are very good. They are very well-rounded, defensive-minded teams. But I'm going to advance Pumas to the quarters over San Luis. All right, the South. We have Juarez against Miami. So Juarez against Messi. That's going to be a ton of fun. And again, I think Messi continues a hot run here. So I'm going to advance Messi and Miami to the quarters over Juarez. And then it'd be Pachuca against Atlanta. I think Pachuca is poised for big games, big things too. I think they knock out Atlanta into the quarters. All right, the West quarterfinals in theory would be the Galaxy and UNL. Very interesting match with Tigres and the Galaxy. I think that both these rosters are very good. But I think this is where like the magic of LAFC runs out. I'm going to advance Tigres, UANL to the semis. All right. The Central. We have Guadalajara and Cincinnati. Woo, baby! A Central 3 group rematch. I think this is what we love to see. I think this is Cincinnati's year. It's their time. I'm going to advance them past Guadalajara. And then the East, we have the Philadelphia Union and UNAM, which would be interesting. Pumas is a very good group. and they're experienced, as is Philly. And this game, in theory, would be held at Subaru, which I think would be advantage Philadelphia. So I'm going to advance Philly in the East here to the semis. And then in the South, we have Messi and Miami against Pachuca. And this is a hard call. The game in theory would be in Miami. That crowd's going to go ballistic. Like I said, I think this is Miami's time to shine with Messi, so I'm going to advance Miami and Messi to the semis. So, the first match of the semis would be August 15th. It would be the Central and the West. So, Cincinnati and UNOW. Hard call. And I like the Cincinnati team a lot. But I think that UNOW picks them off here. So I think that UNOW goes to the final as Cincinnati gets some experience in big games to help them for the MLS playoffs. And on the other side, we have the dream matchup. Well, I think it's a dream matchup in a way because it's a team that's been in a lot of big games over the past year against a team that I think is poised for big things in this summer and fall in this tournament with Messi. I don't know if the game will be held in Miami or in Philly. I think it'd be a huge deal either way, especially Philadelphia from this area for where I'm currently at, but that's just a lot of fun. Miami and Philly would be a fun subplot because of the fans that went viral to see Messi in Philadelphia, only for Messi not to be playing. But this is a hard one. Again, I am going to advance Philadelphia. Although I do think this will be an epic game. I like Andre Blake in that team. They've been in a lot of big games, so I'm going to say Philly to the final. So your third place game will be Cincy and Miami. So Messi against Cincy. And I think that Cincinnati will come in third. And then your finals, Philly and UNOW. The game will probably be in Philadelphia. That crowd will be ballistic. But I really like this UNOW team, and I think that they are going to come together. This UANL team. I'm calling them UNOW, like it's UNAL, but it's really UANL. So I really like this Tigres team a lot. Really good roster. And I think that they are going to be your 2003 League Cup champion. So the pick, Tigres, UANL, to be your champions, and your runner-up, the Philadelphia Union, yet again. And then third place will be Cincinnati. And in fourth place, Messi and Miami. And I don't know if this will have an MVP. But if I had to make a bet for top scorer, it's going to be Messi. I really think Messi's going to be the de facto MVP of this tournament, although I do not have them winning the whole thing. But I do think it's going to be a big tournament for Messi. And I think that Miami is going to make some serious noise in this Leagues Cup. All right, so there you have it. Looking forward to doing a lot more shows to wrap up the week. So enjoy the rest of the week, guys, and enjoy the Leagues Cup.